Around the world with the He and She Show. With hosts, married stand-up comedians Doug and Teresa Wyckoff. With special guests sharing their tales and adventures. Now your hosts.
Hello. You can see we're wearing construction masks right now. I don't think they can hear me.
You can't hear us very well?
No.
We don't need them anyway,
off.
do we?
Not inside our house.
Not
I do have to say these are not medical. We did not steal these from a hospital. They're not medical. They're from a construction site that Doug was on.
Actually, I'm being double safe. I'm wearing two.
Do you always wear two?
No, just to show off how many masks I have. It's like wealth.
Oh, wow. So we are. Oh, yeah. You got the good construction one.
Yep. N95s.
Did you get those at a Home Depot?
Actually, yeah, I had 2 boxes of them from different jobs that I had in my trailer for maybe 6 years. That's like 6 years old.
They're probably technically expired, but they probably work just as well.
They were in plastic sleeves, so I can't imagine any dust getting in it.
No.
Well, the reason supposedly they expire is because the rubber band goes bad and it doesn't hold well enough to keep a seal. That's how come they expire, from what I read.
That totally makes sense.
So you're not stealing any N95s?
You're not hoarding them?
From the hospital?
No, you know what? There was a fire station and I was going to drop the thing off, but because it was open, they couldn't take it.
Oh, see.
Ours are the same way.
Ours were all open too, and I don't think they would have taken it because they're just.
Well, ours are used. We used them for sanding our car when we were painting it. So, but we still had the masks.
I feel like everyone knows now that we've not stolen anything, and I feel like we should introduce our guest.
It's a big secret, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, the guest today on Around the World with the He and She Show.
We are joined by Mike. Okay, let me see if I say this right. Mark.
Say it properly.
Sena.
Mike Sena. Oh, and she keeps her record going, folks, of mispronouncing every guest's name. So, Mike, you're not special. I'm sorry, my friend. You're just part of the group
good.
now.
I have a weakness.
I feel actually better now.
Right.
So Mike is also zooming in from an RV. He lives the whole RV life. Where are you right now, Mike?
I'm in Denver, Colorado. Actually, Aurora, Colorado.
Okay. Oh, that's right by your son.
Next to my son and grandson live there, yeah.
Aurora, that's where the airport is, right?
Just north of Aurora is the airport.
I used to have a crash pad in Aurora when I was a flight attendant for Frontier.
Nice.
Contracted to Frontier. Yeah, anyway. So
we know Mike from where?
From the RV park here in Hollywood RV Park.
He used to live next to us.
One little road over.
Okay. Close enough.
Yeah. And you worked with us on a short film that you helped produce and you did all the sound for. Flatters.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, so how is it?
It's really funny.
It's so close.
It's almost done.
Oh, good. Very good. Very good.
We want to announce it to you right now and the whole world that we are going to do an online premiere that people can buy tickets to on the 26th of this month.
April.
Excellent.
26th.
Very good.
So you'll be able to, it's going to be like a live stream. We'll probably do it on Zoom. And we'll all introduce it, and then Dennis will play it for everybody. And then we'll do maybe a Q&A after.
Excellent. That'll be great. I'll invite, I can invite whoever, right?
Invite everyone you've ever met.
Because all the proceeds go to the starving and struggling artists remaining in Hollywood RV Park.
Which is just you guys, right?
Yeah, it's us. Yeah.
Dennis might take a cut. Okay, that's cool.
He is now also starving and struggling with the rest of it.
It's basically Doug and Dennis, and they can't do any of their stuff, so all the fun.
Yeah, so you guys can kind of take it where it goes, but I would like to see how you guys are doing. When we get around to it, how you guys are making out.
Dennis has. I put a rough cut together. And Dennis is now making the final edits to it, kind of tweaking it down.
Making it look fancy.
we pretty much have, it's all laid out with the music and all the edits and all the transitions and all the different scenes.
The sound was good. You did a good job with the sound. The sound sounds
Oh,
great.
great.
And your
Excellent.
drone
Thank you.
shots. We used your drone
Oh,
shots.
yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. Yeah.
So everybody that's listening, all 7 of you, no, hopefully there's a bit more.
Mike's a very popular guy.
We'll have links and stuff up on our website at theheandshe.com, but let's talk more about you, how you're doing. So
I'm doing good.
are you locked down in Aurora? What's the situation there?
So, Dennis, or you probably know this as well, Doug, that construction for the most part around the country is considered an essential business. So we really have not felt any impact other than some of the city entities or county entities that we deal with, like inspections, permits, stuff like that. They're on skeleton crews, but for the most part, I mean, our jobs are business as usual.
What is it that you do exactly?
So in Colorado, we're building 4 Bank of America branches, brand new ground ups. So that we're coming out of the dirt with brand new buildings, 4 different, one in Longmont, one in Aurora, one in Thornton, and one in Green Valley, which is just south of the airport.
And you're the construction superintendent, right?
So what I do is I have like a superintendent on each one of those projects, and I kind of manage those. I'm more of I just kind of help them. So if they have problems,
superintendent is what you are.
They call me a general site super / field project manager. That's all the titles.
That's all the time.
That's a lot to fit on one card.
That is a lot to fit
Yeah,
on
right.
this card.
Right.
Now, my son also works construction there. He's an on-site superintendent for Turner Construction.
Oh yeah,
And
that's right.
They're building a hospital.
they
or
were
something.
just finishing building a hospital. They called him up and they were like, "Hey, you were supposed to be
Well, I
done,
don't
and
know how
it was
much
supposed
you
to."
can share about his. You named the company.
I can say that they finished the job at a hospital.
All right. I just wanted to preface, just in case you know what you said.
What? Like it's top secret that hospitals are being finished? They was under construction, and they were like, "Hey, we need it to be finished right away." So
You need all the ones you can finish. Yeah.
so they worked overtime, and they got it done, a couple of weeks early and stuff. So secret's out. I hope we don't get in trouble for that.
I didn't know what you were going to say next. You are a wild card. You could say anything.
Oh my God, the quarantines is getting to us, you guys.
Could have gone in a lot.
He
2
is a
went in
wild
and 1
card.
came out. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right now.
Oh my!
Teresa knows you well.
I do, unfortunately. So you're not locked down as far as work goes. What about the whole area? Is the rest of the people's locked down?
Big time. Yeah, my son, well, his particular business, he can work from home anyway. So he's basically felt no impact either. But yeah, you go out to a grocery store or just even driving on the highway, there's like zero traffic. It's so like kind of another world when you go out there. The one good thing compared to where you guys are is because we don't have the population density. The stores are actually pretty easy to get in and out of. There's no lines to get in and out of the grocery stores. Even the lines to pay. Like this morning, I went to pick up a few things, some tortillas and Coke, Diet Coke, and I walked right up to the, self-pay and walked right out. Nothing. So I know I've seen some of the lines that they have just try to get in. Some of the stores are crazy.
Dennis is our friend that lives right next to us. He was on the previous podcast. He went to Ralph's yesterday, and it was pretty much like what you just explained.
Which it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was crazy before, but I think now everyone's
kind
kind
of
of calmed down with okay, food will still be there in a week. It's not The Walking Dead.
And
Right.
everyone has made a stock up, and then the stores have kind of restocked most things.
So have you heard the newest thing about wearing masks?
Yeah, they're talking about making everyone wear masks.
Yeah, in LA, they're I don't know if it's strongly encouraged or required that we have to wear face coverings whenever we go outside now. out of our homes.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea, you know.
Well, it's airborne, and there's different people. People have said it's different amounts of time it's in the air, but it just is in the air. You could breathe, and then also if you're sick and you don't know it, it keeps it from getting out into the air. You know,
Yeah,
it keeps
exactly.
it from going.
Well, the other thing it does is, for me particularly, when I have a mask off, I can't touch my face, which is a good thing.
Oh, I'm a total face toucher. I
Yeah,
think
me
we all
too.
are in
As
ways
you're
we,
leaning on your hand right now.
well, I haven't been anywhere today.
Uh,
I do
So
have to say, it is really good seeing you guys again.
it's
Miss
good
you
to
guys.
see you too.
yeah, it was good seeing
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, man.
So when you were at Hollywood RV Park, you had a bit of a reputation. I don't know if you know this, but you had
I
a
did not.
reputation of having the total pimped out bachelor RV.
He's got a truck with a fifth wheel with the garage in the back that you have a motorcycle in there, right?
Well,
Well, when I'm traveling it, the motorcycles, but when I'm not traveling, the motorcycle's out, and it turns into a editing suite / man cave.
yeah, Doug came back from helping you take some stuff back. He's like, wow, that was so cool. He's like a single guy. He doesn't have to, he just himself, and he has all the toys. And I was like, wow, whoa, calm down, buddy.
Like, how much think you could sell this RV for?
Don't get so excited.
Teresa's got, there's something that he doesn't have in that RV that you got, buddy.
Oh, so why were you here in Hollywood, and how long were you here for?
This is the second time I've been at Hollywood RV Park. So a few years ago, 2015 through 16, right, that transition into New Year's, I was there for like a couple weeks in between a job. I had finished a job in Orange County, and I was going to North Carolina, so I just needed a place to crash for a couple weeks, and then went to North Carolina. This time, I was working in downtown LA and it was another 2 projects that we did at the Bank of America building, and then I did a project at Glendale Community College, where we did a full floor remodel, what we call a scrape and replace. So pretty extensive remodel.
So when you come back here, do you always stay in the RV? Is the RV your home all the time? Your permanent home?
Yeah, I've been, even though, so just to set the full picture, I did have a home base when I was married, but that ended in 2016. But even before then, so since 2004 till now, I've been almost full-time RV'er. Now, obviously, I had home base, so when I was traveling through the Midwest, stop at home for a week or two, or if I was in between jobs, stop at home for a month, whatever. And then I did actually do some work in Omaha for about a year. So it was still for a national contractor, but the work just happened to be in Omaha. So
Is
I
that
lucked
where
out.
you're from? Omaha?
Yeah, yep. Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha was.
Hey, that's Tiger King. That's your people.
No,
That's Oklahoma.
Isn't that what he said?
No, he said Omaha. I was gonna say Omaha was one of my favorite towns.
Omaha, Nebraska?
When I was a
Yeah.
flight attendant, Omaha.
That's not a state. Omaha's a city.
Yeah,
It is.
it is a city.
It is a city.
It's in Nebraska. That's a state.
Yeah, that's a state.
They have good steaks there.
They do have good.
They do have good steaks.
Anyway.
So what were you saying? What was it?
I
What was
really
important?
love Omaha. The downtown area is really cool. And I was a flight
Yeah,
attendant. I was there like once every week for an overnight.
Right. So you hung down at the old market, hang around down at the old market.
Oh, we just lost a light.
Yeah.
Just
It's a gaffer's fault right there.
yeah, it is.
That's on you, Mike.
Hey, my light's still working. I hope the battery doesn't go dead.
We stayed at a older hotel that was like downtown, and what we would do is every weekend, we were there on weekend for some reason, like a Saturday night was how it schedule worked, and there was always a wedding, so we always crashed the wedding. Me and the flight
Nice.
Free drinks.
So we would go to a wedding every weekend. It would be like get in, put our little outfit on, go down to the wedding, have dinner, meet people, dance, whatever, and then come back.
Oh, that is awesome.
Sounds like a movie.
There's
Yeah,
a movie
that's
called
awesome.
Wedding Crashers, and when it
Yeah.
came out, I was like, that was us. We did that.
Based on a true story of Teresa's
We
life.
didn't just do it in Omaha either. It was like a lot of the hotels we stayed at, there were weddings. So usually we'd be nice about it. Like we kind of be like, oh, we're here as flight attendants and blah, blah, blah. And they'd be like,
Right.
come on in. But sometimes we would just fake it and come up with fake names and jobs.
Nice. That's awesome.
I was in my 20s. I'm going to blame that.
A young exuberance.
Young exuberance. So what has been circling back to RV life for you? What has that experience been like for you to be living in an RV?
For like 16 years now,
Yeah.
you say.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been great. I mean, I really like it. It's I never thought I would, because I used to watch those shows, Living Small, and I always thought that's so dumb. I mean, if I had a house, I would want a big house and blah blah blah. And then at the time, I was living in an RV. So I had a big house, but I never was there. I never got to enjoy it, So it's like, yeah. So, and then the last 4 years, I've been 100% full time, no other place to crash, and it was obviously a very easy transition for me since I was already doing it 90% of the time anyway. But I actually like it. I mean, I know through the years of doing it, because you stay at different RV parks, I've worked all over the country, and it's kind of the same everywhere. Like if you go to a good RV community, you'll find like what we had there when I was up in Northern California. There was a place out there by the the artichoke capital of the world out there, someplace.
Cool.
And so it was the same. I met people that had been RVers that they did it full time. Some of them had houses, but they were just trying it to see how they liked it. When I was in Orange County, there's a bunch of people that live full time RVers. They're a little bit more strict. There, they make you fully leave the premises for a week every 6 months, and then move back in. So they pull the rigs out of there. So yeah, a little bit more strict.
You don't get the permanent planters, the ones with all the flowers and.
Nope, they'll let a lot of them. They have been there for like 13 years, right? So they still give them the same space every time.
So they just
They don't
go
lose
for
that.
a week, and
Yeah,
it's like
they
a
have to
little
pull the rig out.
vacation. It's a forced vacation every 6 months. That sounds so bad.
Yeah. But you have to take your rig. So a lot of them, to your point, Teresa, a lot of them will, instead of trying to get a new spot, they'll go take their RV to a storage for a week and then go on a vacation, a hotel, or travel, and then come back when their week is up, pull the rig back in.
That's cool. What are people's reactions? I'm curious if it's similar to us, but what are people's reactions when you tell them you live in an RV?
I don't really offer that up much. I mean, if it comes up, I don't have any problem saying that. But because because I travel, I'm always here for like, oh, where are you from? Well, originally from Omaha. Now I say, well, I spent the last 10 years in California mostly. That's where my home base was, and I have a California's driver's license and a California's contractor's license. So if they say, oh, they see the California plates or whatever on my truck, and they're like, oh, so you're just here doing these jobs? And I'm like, yeah. So, well, where do you stay? A hotel? Nope, I live in an RV. Oh, cool. So that's when it comes up.
Oh, well, that's not so
like
bad.
that.
We tell people that, and they think like, oh, like 8 Mile, like Eminem, like that, like in a trailer.
So
we're like, no.
Either that, or I've had people in Los Angeles here, especially in the Valley. There's a lot of RVs parked on the road, like really broken down RVs that a lot of people homeless live in. So when I mentioned I live in the Valley and I live in an RV,
they're like, oh, you're one of those people that lives
they're
on
like,
the side of the road.
Oh, you're homeless.
We're like, no.
Yeah.
So then I have to do this whole thing about how he fixed it up, and it's not.
Yeah. Well, it is a different lifestyle, and a lot of people, because we are not traditional. This is not the way maybe we were raised. It wasn't the way I was raised. You had the old family and the the home, and everyone's at dinner at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So this is like really, we are a little subculture, you know, the RVers, the full timers.
Well, I don't know what it's like for you there, and I'm going to ask a little bit about that. But for the lockdown, it's not been so bad because it's like we're in this little village where we kind of know most of the people. We do our daily walks with our dog Ginger, and you know, we from a distance we can say hi to people, and it feels like a
Right.
little small town that's protected. And we've left only a couple times in the last month to go outside of the store.
Right. So here, so where I was before was a kind of a higher end. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Or you hear that that ringing or alarm? Okay, good. It's a notification for
Okay.
emails I'm getting. I just want to make sure it's not.
You're just
transferring
very
over.
important. We know. It's fine.
Anyway, this is the second place I've lived since I've been here. So I moved. I was on the west end of town in Golden. Really nice RV park. It didn't have that same vibe. Well, there's very few actually that have the same vibe as Hollywood RV Park. It's a lot. I think there's a lot. It's a lot more close knit community. You know, a lot of the parks like that one was a lot of high end people. No one really wanted to. I mean, they'll wave at you, but that's about it. No one's doing any get-togethers, and the park was so spread out. It didn't really lend itself to the kind of, you know, community development that we kind of had at Hollywood RV Park. And now the place I'm at now it used to be 8 Mile, and what they've done is half of it is still 8 Mile, but it's in the downhill swing of what used to be 8 Mile. So what they're doing is as it keeps, I don't know, as they keep catching on fire or whatever, they start converting them over to RV space, which I think is more profitable for them, you know, because they're charging, you know, I'm paying here what I paid at Hollywood.
Really?
And, yeah,
That's not cheap.
It's a lot easier to It's a lot easier to evict somebody that lives in an RV or a fifth wheel too, though.
You could just
So
hook
you
them
just,
up.
you just hook
Exactly.
up to their forklift and they drag you out and put you on the street. And they're like, "You're evicted."
exactly.
You like wake
You're done.
up and you're like, how did I get over here?
Wait a minute, did the check not clear?
Man, the house is really moving tonight.
Earthquake.
So you have more of a
That's awesome.
community there though, and in the section you're at?
It's so spread out because on this side we don't have a lot of people. So when I was at the other one at Dakota Ridge, I asked them, I go, "Are you guys getting a bunch of cancellations?" She's like, "Tons." So there was a lot of people they thought were going to be there that have canceled. And this place is like, I mean, seriously, there's like maybe a RV every 8 or 9 spaces.
Oh wow.
Is that because of the
COVIDs?
Well, I asked the gal and she said this is the time when we start filling up and there's no one's coming.
no one's traveling right now?
Wow.
So they do
Yeah.
seasonal stuff rather than long term.
Yeah. Well, they'll do long term, but yeah, you're right. Their big market, I think, is more seasonal. And you would think that too. I mean, it's, you know, Denver area in the summer, I bet you would be a fun place to go if you're going to travel.
Right.
You definitely want to hit that, you know.
So is there anything that you miss about a house, or are you planning on being in RVs forever and doing the most?
No, I would like to be to get back in a house at some point. The problem is for me, because of the way I work, traveling around the country so much, it's hard to be based anywhere for very long. Because if I did have a property in California, house, garage, the shop, everything I wanted, you know, I wouldn't be there. I mean, I'd be in Denver because it's way more cost effective to have all my stuff with me in an RV. So I would still have the RV, but when I was done, I would go back to California for a couple of weeks, or if I had projects there, then it would be helpful. But, you know, the chances of the projects being close to where you're living is another thing that's kind of tough in California. You know, it's not uncommon for people to drive 75 miles one way to your next job, you know.
Wow.
So,
That's crazy. Yeah, we've really enjoyed the whole RV life. But for us, our RV is much smaller than yours, and there's 2 of us. You've been in an RV. You spent a lot of time in our RV, actually.
Yeah. In your RV.
Yeah, you spent hours with your boom mic and the whole setup.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, it's definitely small for long-term habitation where you can't leave.
It's not that bad.
Right. Well, it's all about organizing and just getting your mind wrapped around, living in a smaller space. You can't, like, before, when I was a contractor in Omaha, we did a demolition of a Gap store. Well, I'd take all those light fixtures and I'd take all the glass and the doors and I'd put them in my shop, thinking someday I'm going to make a table out of that glass, or I might use those lights in my shop. And it became so packed with stuff that we couldn't even work in the shop. And one day I was like, I'm done. I got a couple of scrappers come by and hauled everything out. It's like we had a 6,100 square foot shop that I couldn't work in because I had so much crap in it from years of collecting it from jobs. So now it's funny. There'll be some little thing. They go, hey, you guys want this? And someone will say something to me. I'm like, no, I don't want anything. I won't take a dinner plate home. I have everything I need.
I'm good.
No room for extra junk. Yeah.
So you're a minimalist now, then, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which I think is
Very much so.
actually cool part of our lifestyle, is it forces you to kind of be a minimalist. Like,
right.
I'm not trying to buy things for the house. I'm not shopping a lot like I used to when we didn't live in it. When we lived in a place.
Right, exactly. Same thing.
But yeah, it's a simple way to live. And I think a lot of people are excited about the whole RV life, like on Instagram and stuff, because you see freedom and and simplicity, and everything, at least lately, had seemed so busy and chaotic and stressful. And people see, like on Instagram, someone's like, in Yellowstone this week, I don't know where I'll be next week. And, simple, everything they take with them. It's not like a bunch of stuff. And yeah,
you see a lot of these YouTubers doing it's sprinter life now. They buy these the Dodge or the Mercedes Sprinters and deck them out, and they live in that. But it's usually either a couple or just one person. And even a lot of single people are just doing that, traveling around the Canada, Mexico, and here, and obviously in the States, and living that. They'll stay on the street for a couple of nights because no big deal, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's the cool thing about that is you could park in a regular parking spot.
Exactly. Right. A little bit trickier with our rigs. Your rig, even you couldn't.
No.
We have to.
Well, you could go to Walmart. Yeah, Walmart you could totally do.
Yeah, but we were gonna do van life, actually. That was the plan, and then we decided with the dog and the cat that maybe it would be just too little of room. And since we ended up staying in LA long term, I can't imagine doing that in a van. We have friends that have done it, but to me that sounds horrendous.
Yeah, it's a little much, I think, for a couple. Even to be single in a van really long term, I think would get old.
Well, the ones that do have like toilets or showers, it's like an outdoor shower.
It's a toilet and the shower together.
Or it's like a
you're sitting on the toilet and you put the curtain around you and then bathe on the toilet.
Well, and I see people who are couples, and I was like, I feel bad enough as it is having the bathroom be a thin little door. I can't imagine just a curtain. Oh gosh, that's horrified. So
my first foray into RV life, I was in New Jersey doing a job there, and I went on eBay and I found a trailer, and it was a toy hauler, but it was a 28-foot pull behind, right? And it was the real low ones that you could pull a race car into. So the back garage was 15 feet, and the front was 12 feet of living space. So I lived in that from 2004 till 2012.
What?
Yes. And the bathroom was a toilet, and it had the shower above, and it had a door on it, But if you use the shower, you could pull the plastic curtain. I used the shower one time in all that time. I would just use the showers that were there at the RV because it was just way easier.
What are you doing now with that? Are you sharing it with all the people with the possible COVIDs, or are you staying inside your RV?
No, mine has regular showers. So
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, once I got this one, it was like, oh, so much nicer having your own shower.
It is nice.
It is one of the benefits.
I love
sure.
our shower. A shower is perfect for me. For him, he's a little too tall for it. So he had been showering at the bathrooms, and then I forced him to stop because all I could see is germs every time he came in. So
yeah, spray him down outside after you take a shower.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't touch anything.
Yeah. I know, right? It's especially knowing it's airborne. What do you think of the whole situation? Do you think it's a real thing?
Is it a hoax?
Is it a hoax? Is it?
So, I mean, people that say that, I really worry about their mental stability. That I understand there are people that are kind of what do you call it when they make I'm trying to think of the word.
Crazy, stupid, retarded.
Those are very applicable terms. No, the conspiracy theorist.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Republican.
So I mean, and I've got a good friend of mine that's going on and on about, blah blah blah, this and that. I'm like, come on, dude, seriously. I mean, it's for real. Even Trump, as long as it took him to catch on that, holy shit, people are really gonna die. It took him a long time to catch on, but he is finally saying more sensible things than what he was saying before.
Which is not saying a lot, but it is more sensible.
Yeah, it's just more sensible.
I wonder of the people who said it was a hoax and now are all of a sudden, oh, it is serious. I'm concerned, or wonder what their mindset is. Do they think I was wrong, or it's now serious? Like, how do you justify the fact that you thought it was a hoax and told everyone to calm down and blah blah blah? And
everyone always does that thing where they say, well, I just used the information I had at the time, so now that I'm more informed, I can switch my stance, which is the same thing Trump does.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've heard was that Fox News, they cut loose that one woman anchor because she said the COVID thing was a hoax.
Trish
so they
Reagan.
fired her. Yes, and now Reagan. Yes, so now they're trying to position themselves to be way more on board because now they're afraid of lawsuits. Because here is a source of information that's public, broadcasting that the thing is a hoax. How many people listen to that? So they're really afraid of like class action lawsuit.
We know people that listen and put themselves in very scary situations, and I could see them infecting someone or someone around them, or being infected.
I read an article about a lawyer who responded to that, and he was saying that really the only way it is possible that they are exposed to lawsuits, but it would have to be someone got sick and or died early on, and all the information they got was from Fox News. Because like by this point now, it's like a common person, everyone's like, no, you should have known now. It's not just Fox News. But it was early on enough, and someone got all their information from there and then only listened to them and died, then they could be possibly sued.
Right.
So there is legal grounds, but you got to find that perfect person.
Nuanced case.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting time. A lot of really scary things are coming out of the woodwork. I don't know if you heard about this. You were telling me about it, but I was also reading about it.
They discovered Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's the disturbing
I heard
thing.
that.
Yeah.
That's real. There was a time traveler that said Trump's going to win re-election. That's real too.
That's real too. No. Well, the Bigfoot thing is obviously real.
Obviously.
I mean, now that we're all indoors, he feels like he can come out.
Was he on the other side of the earth and then came on the top part of the flat earth?
He guards the edge.
Ah, I got you.
Sasquatches and the.
No spoiler alerts for flat Earth now.
Oh shoot.
Although I am working on writing chapter 2, and it involves Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Flat Earth chapter 2 is the Bigfoot.
We're gonna
Does he
rewrite
have-
that.
He doesn't have a flatulence problem, does he?
Oh, that's right. We got to put you in for credits for the
Sound effects.
no, what do they call it? The Foley artist, Mike Sena. Flatulation.
You do some very inspiring work.
I actually took, spoiler alert for people who are listening, is I took one of your like little clips, or it'll, and I just took it, and then wherever I needed it, I it's probably in there like a dozen times.
I don't think that's
awesome.
The same.
Spoiler
That's awesome.
alert, there's farts involved. That's the kind
That's
of
hilarious.
What?
That's the kind of show this
Oh,
is.
you ruined
So
it.
let's talk about that a little bit. Like, how did you start getting into doing film stuff and everything?
So I mean, back in the day, this is back in the 90s, I was a struggling construction worker, and I had 3 boys that I was raising. Their mom lived in Montana, 1,000 miles away. And my brother, my younger brother, who is a musician, he went to, back then, Cox Communications, they had these satellite offices all over the city. And what they would do is, I don't know what the rules were that governed it, but they had to provide public access, right? So you could have a little public access show. So my brother, he's like, he went down and registered to do a public access show. So they give you a half hour to make or an hour to make a half hour show, which means you don't have a lot of time to really put it together. So we made some set materials. I built a desk that could quickly be erected. So he did a Johnny Carson type talk show, and he would have local people that were kind of in Omaha that a lot of people knew, invited them onto the show. So I was the director. They had great equipment. They had 2 really good studio cameras, a good mixing table. This is, like I said, in the 90s. So the editor was all tape, but it was quick because you could digitally edit pretty quick, and that was my first foray into that whole thing. And it was just so much fun. We were just talking to it on the little family Zoom that we did a week ago about how much fun that was. The boys loved it. So that was my first foray into it, into the 90s. And then with the advent of the digital revolution, I saw that movie. Remember the one where the 2 divers got left out in the water and the boat took off
Yeah, do you remember the name of that?
in Mexico? But it was a couple that just had some digital cameras. They shot the whole thing and sold it at Sundance, and the rest is history.
I thought you were going to say you thought about taking your ex-wife out scuba diving, but anyway.
That's a different story. We don't talk about that.
2 go out, 1 comes back.
So what that was in the back of my head, it's like, wow, it's so available if you could just get a camera. And so I was messing around one day with my daughter in Boston, and I took a bunch of stills, and then I had Microsoft Movie Maker, and I put them all together, and I found some music, and I put it together, and I made this little 2-minute video, and I played it, and I was like, holy shit, I could make a movie. That was the catalyst that really got it going. So from there I started, tons of YouTube videos, buying cameras and finding out the equipment that you really need. And one of the pitfalls of getting into filmmaking is the gear obsession. And I got it bad at the beginning. So it's like you get way more gear than you really know what to even do with. It's just like, oh, I need a monitor. Of course, get a monitor.
Well, we made use of some of your equipment, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I have it. So yeah. So I actually love the process. I love everything about movie making. I love movies. I'm a huge movie nut. So I try to see everything that comes out that's interesting, you know.
Well, I'm sure it was a cool experience doing filmmaking things while you were in Hollywood, because
Oh yeah, it was great.
everyone's in the industry, and it's like the world is kind of surrounds itself around movies and TV shows, and
Right.
it feels
Right.
historic.
I'm
so
sure.
oh, I'm sorry, Doug. When I was working at the Bank of America building downtown, that's where they filmed some parts of Westworld. So if you've seen season 3,
Oh.
so
Oh, wait,
season
no,
3,
time out. No. There's only been 2 episodes of season 3.
right?
Has it been
Yes.
once aired already?
So yeah, so what it is,
Okay.
if you where they have the big ball computer thing,
Yeah.
that big ball with the red dots on it,
Yeah.
that is in the Bank of America building, but it was never actually in the Bank of America building. They just use the setting, and then it's, you know,
They
CG'd
digitally.
in.
Yeah.
But where they're walking around, I was there every single day. So when they were filming there one night, I had my camera. I was outside the glass, and I was filming them filming inside. But it was just, I didn't get any actual footage of what they were shooting. But I got a picture of the one gal who's a robot dressing in her outfit. So it was awesome. It's like,
Oh, that's
great.
cool. It's his
Yeah,
favorite show. I really like it too, but it's his favorite.
Really good show. I like it too.
Yeah.
Totally hooked.
It's a trip. Still
Yep.
trying to wrap my head around what's really all the options of what's really going on.
What's
Oh,
gonna
it's
happen?
amazing. It's amazing. Just you always watch the little 30-minute or 30-second thing afterwards of what happened
Sometimes
on
we
the
do.
show.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
Teresa sits on the remote.
Sometimes I accidentally leave it, and then it's not worth going back. But yes, sometimes we do.
We try to.
So
Actually,
all
wait,
those are great.
sorry, I ruined the Westworld season 2 finale.
She didn't wait for it. She just pushed
So I'm
end.
not going to give a spoiler about what happens, but if you do watch season 2 and you haven't yet, you need to wait for the credits to be over, and there's another scene. And I didn't know that.
So we were missing that. So we rewatched all of season 2 before season 3 started.
And the day before,
That's a
day
good
of,
idea.
actually, like right before, and and I had read something, and I was like, let's just see what it is. And it was a huge scene. Like, have you seen it? The after credits?
I'm gonna watch it.
Yes.
I'm gonna watch it.
It's gonna blow your mind. It's
Mind
like
blown.
Wow.
it makes you question everything, and that's all I'll say. I don't want to give spoilers.
Right.
That's
they all
awesome.
they all turn into zombies, but I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah, it's the Walking Dead of Westworld.
And then Rick kills them all.
Rick Grimes comes in. It's a bloodbath.
And you're like, wait, this is Westworld, and it's like, oh, it's Walking Dead world.
Did you catch the Easter egg in the last episode? Was it the last one or the one before?
The last one, the
no, it was
Game of Thrones one.
Yeah, where they did a reference to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I did catch actually, and then watch the afterwards. They kind of touch on that too.
Yeah, they're like, it was the 2 creators of Game of Thrones,
Oh,
the 2 guys.
Yeah,
Right.
I interrupted you when you were going to say something about the afters thing. Do you remember?
No, same. It was the that little after clip that showed that they talked about the Game of Thrones reference.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably would have missed it.
Teresa actually caught it as she went by. She's like, that looks like a Game of Thrones dragon. And then it was just kept going.
Well, and
Oh,
all
that's
the stuff
right. That's what it
around
was. That's right.
And then
That's
all the
right.
stuff around them looked Game of Thrones-y, like set pieces and stuff. I think they probably had.
Right. That's what it was. I think that's what it was. So that's, when I first saw it, I thought I go, geez, that HBO, they're making all their stuff look the same. That looks like from Game of Thrones. And then I watched the thing afterward. I was like, oh, what? That was some kind of a little Easter egg deal. Okay, cool.
I knew it right away. I was like, that's the dragon. That's where the dragon went.
That is it. That's right.
That's where the dragon
That's
went.
great.
And they were talking about selling them to some buyer down in Costa Rica.
That's right.
So I don't know if that ties in with Jurassic Park too.
Oh my goodness, there's too many tie-ins.
Because that's kind of where Jurassic Park is.
Do you like the Jurassic Park movies? Do you watch those?
I did watch all of the Jurassic Parks.
The new ones? What do you think about the end? Well, the newest one
with Chris Pratt.
With Chris Pratt, the newest series.
Oh, it was. It was a little bit more watered down. With Ron Howard's daughter. Howard, yeah. What's her name? Dallas. She was in it, but I thought. I mean, it was entertaining. It wasn't. Nothing's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be as good as that first one when you see the T-Rex and those huge brontosauruses, because it was just like, wow, how did they do that? Because the VFX were so good.
For them, I mean, even now it kind of holds up.
Yeah, I think it does too.
Recently. I remember just being in the theater. I was in junior high at the time, or maybe younger. I think it was like 10, 11, 12, when Jurassic Park came out.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys were the same age, right?
I think we went to the same. I took my children, and she was there also as a child.
Oh, that's awkward. I don't think it's that much of an age difference.
That's when I saw her, and I was like, ooh.
Oh, that's gross.
Someday.
That's not true. But anyway, I remember just sitting in the theater and being shocked. I think I watched it twice in a row.
Nice. Yeah, it was just so good. It was really such cutting edge at the time.
Do you know the premise of the third one that they were working up to on the second one of the new series? So the premise, earmuffs if you've not watched the first two yet, but if you haven't, I mean, you don't care, is at the end of the second episode, it shows them all over the place in America.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like the premise, I think, for Jurassic World is now it's not the park. That's the whole point of those movies, is it's going to be like an everyday. And if you can find it, I think you'd really enjoy it. They did released without any warning a short film that they made that's completely separate from the film. It's the movie, and it's about a family that's camping. And it's made by all the same Jurassic Park people. Yeah, check it out.
I will. I'll do search on that.
You haven't?
I don't think.
Well, that's what we're going to check out after this is over.
We're going to go watch it too.
Exactly.
So
all the spoilers for the movie stuff on this episode.
So you say you have a YouTube page?
I do have a YouTube channel. I've got a Vimeo channel, and it's mostly just farting around. I haven't gotten a chance to actually make something really a narrative or anything like that. It's just basically I just shoot all the time. Like when I'm with people, they're like, why do you got the camera out all the time? I'm more annoying. I'm like, hey, this is verite filmmaking, dude. Just forget about the camera.
All right, we have a proposition for you.
B-roll.
When the COVIDs are all over and all the COVIDs are done, if you want to follow us with a camera, we want to do a trip. We like to travel and do a trip, but we never videotape ourselves, and we thought it'd be fun to put like a little.
We're narcissistic enough to think that we need a camera on us and people would want to see that.
That would be awesome. I would love to.
True. Yeah, like a little travel show.
I would love to.
We'll pay for your ticket.
Well, it'll be $12 to fly.
Anywhere in the world, $50 right now. Actually, we're going to send you and you wait for us.
We'll be the only three on the plane. What are you talking about?
Now's the best time to travel.
Except for most countries aren't letting people from America in.
Other than you can't land anywhere. You're a man without a home.
Have you seen that? That all these countries have blocked entry specifically from America.
We've gone to the
well, especially if you're from New York. You can't even. The other states are blocking New Yorkers from coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you know anyone yet that's had it or that's gotten sick?
I don't know anyone personally. My brother was good friends with a really multi-gazillionaire businessman in Omaha who just died from it. 54 years old.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wow. Wasn't there another gazillionaire that lives in Omaha? The famous one.
Warren Buffett lives there.
That's it. Yeah. But it wasn't Warren. Warren's okay.
No, it wasn't Warren. No. But yeah, Warren's fine.
He'll live forever.
He will.
Him and his Omaha.
So I want to know more about this trip. Where is this trip going to be?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, we were planning on going to Italy, but
in April, actually. This month. I had to go to London for work, which I'm not, obviously. That event's been canceled. And then we were going to go, he was going to meet me. And
we were going to actually go look for those dollar houses in Italy.
Yeah, actually, that's kind of what we're thinking about doing as our next adventure, is buying those dollar houses. And Doug is not, you know, he used to be a contractor as well.
Yeah.
So maybe you should film us doing that and then also restore your own Italian house. And we make investment properties and rent them out. There you go.
That'd be it. Perfect. B&B. What do you call Airbnbs?
Airbnb.
Yeah, Airbnb.
You said you wanted a house, Mike. There you go.
Yeah, and then you can go visit whenever you want, but it's making money for you while you're gone.
That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now that I have Mike's life planned out.
Have you been to Italy?
I have not. I've been to Europe, but I've not been to Italy. I've only been to London, Ireland, Germany, Amsterdam. I think that's about it. We did that on one 14-day trip. Just hit a bunch of places in those cities. But we were going to go to Italy and Spain, but then we decided to go to Amsterdam and Ireland instead, because we flew over we met in Ireland. Then we go, hey, let's go here. We didn't really have any itinerary. My son is a extremely knowledgeable and experienced traveler, because that's all he does.
Really?
So he's just, and he can speak several languages, fluent German, fluent Spanish, and he can speak enough other languages, Italian, and even we were in a bar in Fairbanks last year, and there was a Russian girl living or working there. We heard the accent, and my son starts talking to her because he knows enough phrases in Russian, and she was just like,
"What?
Oh my God, you speak
And
Russian?"
he's American? He's an American child of yours that does all this?
Yes.
You speak all those
My
languages?
youngest
It's
son.
like a European kid is what it sounds like.
Right?
Yeah.
How'd you manage that?
Huh?
How'd you manage to have one that was smart?
I mean, just looking at you, Mike, we're like,
I can't take any credit, all right? I can't even speak Spanish.
What?
And my dad was full Mexican.
Oh, I can't speak
And
any
you
language.
didn't learn Spanish?
Nope, not a word. I'm not a word.
Hola, mi amigo. ¿Cómo está usted?
Oh.
See, I know more than
I'll hit you in the head with a martillo.
You figured you'd learn Spanish by now, even on the job sites. That's where I learned it.
I know, and for years I had all Spanish crews, and I know all the tools. I can say all the tools, all that stuff. Some basic stuff just for construction stuff, but I never did learn. Just
He
that
knows
old.
all the construction.
I just
words
thought,
as well.
adios, no trabajo, no más. Adios. And they're, no. Please.
No más.
No,
Yeah. No trabajo, no dinero.
trabajo, no dinero. Adios. Oh.
Don't do a Mexican accent because it sounds like the most racist thing I've ever heard.
Oh,
Coming
no.
out
I'm part Mexican also.
No,
'Cause
coming.
I've been to Mexico, and I got the Mexican flu stuff there, so that means I'm part Mexican now. It stays in you permanently.
Wow, that is the whitest 50-year-old mannish thing to say.
Wow, got racist control right here, guys.
There you go.
Sure,
There you go.
that doesn't count.
Honestly, I feel like that's my part-time job, is being a filter. For
Yeah.
like, no, don't you say what I think you're gonna say.
We don't say those things.
Because he's a joke. But
It's all
you know.
jokes.
Funny.
It's all jokes.
That's good. It's all good. It's all good.
Misogyny. There's sometimes on stage I have to call him out for the misogyny on stage together. I'm like, no, stop.
I'm like, no, that's not really misogynistic. It's not. That's not a misogynistic thing.
Explains it to me.
A man can have multiple wives. It's fine.
So
I'm telling you.
you get called out for being misogynistic, and then you have to mansplain it to her
Yeah.
that you're
Correct.
not being misogynistic. I get it.
And
Makes
tell her that
perfect
she's my
sense.
favorite wife, and she gets it. Because you got to have multiple wives, right?
We were talking yesterday
Mormon.
I'm from Utah.
with You are from Utah. We were talking yesterday with Dennis and Melissa from a good distance while we were outside.
From a distance.
Oh, I have a funny story about that.
Yeah.
And we were talking about somebody, and then we were talking about the Tiger King. Have you seen Tiger King yet?
Yes, hilarious.
So we were talking about whether or not she really fed her husband to the tigers. And Doug said, well, I mean, it doesn't really count. She was second wife. And then walked away. And I was like, I'm the second wife. What do you mean by this?
I mean, they'll kill you.
He was like, it wasn't really serious. She was the second wife.
Oh my
Wow.
God, that's hilarious,
That
right?
was an awkward moment for you
Wow.
right there, wasn't it? Did you notice it? What was happening?
No, I was just speaking truth.
Wow. It's a really good thing there were other people around at that moment.
I can say whatever I want. What is she going to do? Leave me right now? I mean, come on.
He's got a point.
You guys will have to.
storm out.
You guys take this up after the call, okay?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, this is the shit people love. They love this is the fight scenes. They love that in reality TV. That's the best part.
No, they don't.
Just,
You know, I really missed. I'm really sad that I did not get to see you guys on stage.
I'm sad that you did not get to see us on stage. And what we need to do is go to Denver once this is all over because his son is there. We need to see the grandchild.
My son's there, and I have a friend who runs a comedy club there, so we could do all the things easily.
Yeah.
Which comedy club?
Ooh.
Is it the one out? Is it the one out by where Stapleton used to be?
It's in Denver. It's
I can look it up real quick.
I don't think he owns it. He's just
No,
running it.
he books shows there.
He books shows there. Yeah.
Okay, so my son, the youngest one, the Traveler,
Yeah.
he used to do stand-up comedy,
What?
and he worked at that place in Denver at the comedy club. And me and my wife at the time happened to be were we flying? Yeah, I think we were catching a plane. And we stopped in this bar. It was a comedy club, but it was like 3 p.m, right? So we're in the bar, and there's my son. I'm like, Zach. And he's like, holy shit, what are you guys doing here? I'm like,
Busted.
what are you guys doing here? Yeah, it was great. Just happened chance. Like, what are the chances that
So
we
you
would
did
run into you in Denver?
Wow. So you did stand up?
No, he did stand up.
Well, did he
Is he
do
still
it for
doing it now?
Yeah, does he still do it?
He doesn't do it anymore. He would like to get back to it, but so he works. He's a bartender.
Ah.
So he works at Butch McGuire's in Chicago, which is a really popular old established bar. Tons of people go there. Every year it's a big Christmas thing to go there because of their light display. But so because of the COVID, they're all closed, right? So the owner told him, hey, Zach, make some funny videos of you guys, what you're doing at COVID, or a video of you guys or coming to the bar, and you could act like you're in the bar doing. So he did a couple of funny ones of being in the bar, and then their little COVID one of him and his girlfriend and a friend of theirs were in his apartment, and they were all like in 3 different rooms, and they would pull a box with the beer in it to whoever needed. They had strings. They would pull the box back and forth. Hey, send me some wine. Okay. You know, that was the video. Real short. But it was cute.
Nice.
So
Nice.
he's still got the comedic mind, that's for sure. He's a funny kid.
How old is he?
34.
34. That's about the same age as your oldest son.
Denver Comedy Lounge.
Okay, I'll look that up, see if that's the same one. But yeah, he used to work there, and so whenever I had the open mic, he would always do it.
Yeah. That's cool. So
Yeah.
how many kids do you have?
I have 3 boys. So the oldest one lives here in Denver. So up until last week, I saw him every weekend, but now it's pretty locked down. So, and I don't want to take a chance for him, and I don't want him to take a chance for me. Just, we talk every day though. So it's pretty good that way. And then my middle son is in the Army. He's in Fairbanks. He flies Chinook helicopters for Uncle Sam. So he's done about five tours over there, 2 in Iraq and 3 in Afghanistan.
Wow.
So he's got
5 tours.
He's got got about 4.5 years of battle experience. So yeah. So yeah, good kid though. Super good kid. Got his head on straight. Thank God he's not been exposed to anything too horrific. You know, I mean, not like some of those guys. I mean, there's guys that see some stuff that no one should have to see. You know,
Yeah.
and thank God he hasn't been one of those.
Because he's up in the helicopter.
Yep, exactly.
I have a friend that flies Chinooks, but I think he's based in Denver area.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know anything about that though, except they exist.
Yeah. Yeah. So I made my year-end video. We have some footage because we went up to, me and all three of my boys were together. We went up to Alaska to spend some time with Levi, and he took us into the simulator, the Chinook simulator.
Oh,
so we all got a chance to crash it
Right.
in the White House, on the White House lawn. It was hilarious.
great
hilarious.
location.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can pull up anything, and here you are. Yeah, you can land on the White House.
How hard was it to fly
That's
that
cool.
thing on the simulator?
Unbelievable. I have a commercial pilot's license, and I have to say that it is incredibly difficult. And you have to keep in mind the Chinook, the way they are now, is it's super simple to fly compared to the old helicopters. And even though it's super simple to fly, it is extremely difficult for a new person to fly that thing. I'm like,
They
oh
say
my
it's
God,
like
I can't.
you're trying to sit on a point and just kind of balance on that in all
Right.
directions.
Yeah, it just, every little input you do changes something because you're in 3D space.
Right.
That's
So
the
it's like-
scary thing about going on these helicopter tours. You don't know how good they really are.
Yeah, well, you know how much experience they have, but yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Why are you looking at me? Didn't you say you had a daughter too?
I have two stepdaughters from the previous, well, the last wife, the second wife.
The expendable one.
Exactly. Yes. So I have expendable daughters because of her.
Yeah,
So.
I was gonna
No,
say when I asked how many kids. Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm in good contact with one of them, and the other one I haven't talked to for 4 years.
Oh wow.
So she they both initially went with mom and didn't want to have anything to do with me. But the oldest one, we just kind of reestablished a relationship over Christmas, and so it's been really good.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That happens. Wait, let's
Very,
circle
very
back.
happy about that.
So I'm gonna circle back for a second. You mentioned that you have a commercial pilot's license.
Yes.
What's that story? I feel like
Well,
there's-
I wanted to be a pilot. My brother was a Navy pilot. He's a captain for American. So he said, I think his last flight they had, what did he say? 40 some people on the flight. But then I'm not sure if he was joking, but he was on a flight that there was like 20 people on, and he was just flying in the back, going someplace to O'Hare. He flies out of O'Hare. So we've always had airplanes kind of on the brain, airplane on the brain family. My uncle built a couple airplanes. I flew in one airplane that he actually built from scratch. Wasn't a kit, built from parts that he scrounged for years.
Seems a
And
little.
you flew
And
in it.
I flew in it. I flew in that airplane.
Well,
It was an open cockpit.
obviously you were very brave, because you know the difference between bravery and stupidity, don't you? Success.
Yeah.
So
That's how is the outcome, right?
Yeah.
if you succeed, you're brave. If you don't, you're stupid. So
Well,
You're
you know what's saying with the pilot says, any landing you can walk away from is a good landing.
that's right.
So did you ever fly commercially?
No, I never did. I probably have about 325 hours of pilot and command hours. So I have a commercial and I was an instrument rated commercial pilot. But I just went through the steps to get the ratings, to keep going to the next phase. And it just got to be too much money. I had so much money invested in it. And you pay to fly,
Yeah.
to get to a certain point. And I was like I said, I had been divorced. I was raising the 3 boys, taking classes part-time, working full-time, and taking flying lessons. And it just got to be too much after 2.5 years of doing it. So, yeah.
Well, it seems like you'd
But I
be
love flying.
a good person to know in the apocalypse, because I was watching a series of apocalyptical films recently in light of our environment, or, our situation. And in 2000, I was watching the movie 2012, and the guy just happened to know how to fly a plane, and so they happened to get out of LA at the last second. So I was telling Doug, I'm like, we're right by the Van Nuys Airport.
Mike's our
location, we got that.
Yeah. Yep.
So the apocalypse, we would hope, doesn't happen until you're back here.
Right.
And then we can all just run over to the airport.
Yeah, it's right there.
And then you just pick a plane.
Grab Mark Wahlberg's jet and go.
Why not? He's not going to need it.
Or
he won't care.
He's
Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks's jet's here also.
Yeah.
So is Spielberg. His jet's there too. Well, that guy that lives in the RV park has flown Spielberg.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pilots.
He's got about 6 pilots in here now, he said.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. I feel like this RV park is all film people, industry people, or creatives, and then pilots and nurses. That's like pretty much everyone, and the tourists.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he never has to worry about keeping the place full.
Mm-mm.
We have to worry about having a place for us to crash if he has an opening,
Yeah. No, we were lucky that we got in, actually.
Yeah, I told Steve when I left, I go, Steve, I will be coming back. I mean, you're going to yell, yeah, you can give me as much notice as you can. I'll have a space for you. Like, all right, we'll see. Yeah.
One day he's going to come up to us. All the spots are full, and Mike wants to come back, so I'm going to need you guys to leave.
Well, he has his park me in the back fence for a couple of weeks until
by the dog park.
Yeah, exactly.
I was joking that they need to do like like the Star Tours they do in Beverly Hills in the vans. You could almost do a walking one here.
Steve does that. You've never seen him.
Oh, he does. Remember when we were shooting? How many people did he bring by?
He likes to. That's why he brings people over to see him making the movies and stuff. That's why it's so nice. It's nice to have him do that.
It's very generous of him to let us film here, A.
Yeah.
And then B, it's like such a cool thing for a tourist. Like, could you imagine being from, I don't know, there's a lot of German tourists, right? And you come to Hollywood and you stay in an RV park and they're filming a movie, and we had the full gear, and there's been lots of things filmed here, and then they're like in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden they're like probably phoning home. They make so many movies here that they're even making them in the RV park that we're staying in.
Exactly.
Like, this is so cool. And he's had like big shows. Like Ice-T did an episode of whatever show he's on. One of the SVUs. LL Cool J.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah. So and I saw Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, he did an episode here too.
Yeah, there's a whole episode about Hollywood RV Park that Jeff Goldblum did. And I was so angry because we were here all day that day, and he is one of my favorite people ever.
You didn't know.
And I didn't know he was here. And we left and we came back. And I think we even saw when we were leaving to go grocery shopping or Target, I remember seeing, it's some film people. And then I hear, they took him to different places because he wanted to see the RV life. So he met different people, and I was like,
oh man,
I was so angry.
I know it.
I hate it when I miss stuff. I don't like to miss out. I have FOMO constantly.
I know it. Exactly. I hear you. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I love catching something going on.
Yeah. Well, when this is over, you'll have to send me a link to your YouTube video so that we can post that when we post the podcast, and people can check out your videos.
Your cinematography skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. No problem. I will.
All right. So this is what we do with everybody because we're all kind of quarantined, although you get to leave to go to work, which is so exciting for you. But we have 5 questions that we're going to ask you. Are you ready?
Yep. Shoot.
Oh, wait. Yeah, you have
You
to do
ready?
the thing. Yeah, do the thing while I find the questions.
Okay, here we go.
It's 5 questions.
See, that was worth it right there.
Yeah, that was worth it. That was worth
It
the
makes
wait.
it real.
All right. So these are the 5 questions. Question number 1, and I got this from Twitter.
Dr. Daniel G. Amen, MD. He wrote these on Twitter. These are questions for weekend quarantine checkup, he wrote.
But I've been using it with everyone because I think it's good questions about the whole situation. And normally I send them in advance, and I didn't to you. So I'm sorry for putting you on the spot.
I probably would give really dumb answers now.
So you can just, if you don't like the question, you can just say
So,
pass.
This
pass.
is a disclaimer. If he doesn't seem prepared, it's because I did not prepare him. All right. So the first question is, in this situation where everything kind of seems out of control, what things are still that you do feel like are still in your control, that you can control in relation to the whole thing?
In my particular case, I don't really feel that anything is really out of control. Everything, for the most part, is pretty much the same for me. I mean, because I'm not really restricted to the house because I have an essential job, so I'm lucky, I think.
Yeah, in that sense, you are.
You've had to restrict some of your social activities after work a little bit, like hanging out with your son or maybe going to dinner.
Yeah, so I will say that the big change there is because I can't just hang with him, I'm calling him a lot more often to the point where I think he's like, yeah, Dad, it's I'm still working. It's like 3 in the afternoon. I'll talk to you later. Oh, yeah, no problem. Talk to you later, Jordan.
Well, this might not apply for you then. I don't know, but have you learned any lessons from this experience, this out of nowhere?
Yeah, I think a lesson that you.
Yeah, you did just say that too.
The reality is people will take things every which way. You'll have the conspiracy, and it doesn't seem like it's real. Like, really, it's a hoax, and yet people will go there. Or you'll have the people that are, the sky is falling, and then you have people somewhere in the middle, and it's like you're going to get all walks of life reacting to it in every which way, even though it seems like a movie. Like, no one would really say that because you've seen that kind of activity or that kind of reaction in a movie. People wouldn't really do that. Oh yeah, they will. They really will do that.
Than fiction
You
is
know
what's
what's
so
crazy?
weird. Like, I've seen movies where it's like some weird, you're like, that would never happen, and you're like, I only believe it because it's based on a true story.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we rewatched the first episode of Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know if you've seen it, but the first time I watched it a few years ago, I thought, oh, this is boring and this is not how it would happen. And then watching it last night was the creepiest thing because it felt exactly what's happening. People were going and staying in their houses, and
it's the spinoff from Walking Dead, but it supposedly starts in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and it's all here. And it was weird, like there'd be helicopters, and then we hear the helicopters. It was like we're in it.
It's like, this is like oddly timed to the exact moment we are right now.
There's a whole scene.
It's like as the population just is starting to become zombies and the first people are figuring it out.
Yeah, it was. I highly recommend it though. It adds to the creepy. And
so have you guys seen World War Z?
Oh,
yeah, that's a good one.
So that Mel Blanc's kid wrote that, and he is a fellow at West Point for teaching them about these kind of situations.
No way.
So that's a really good movie to watch, because again, you'll think that would never happen, and then after this experience, you're like, oh yeah, I could totally see how that would happen.
We're gonna have to watch it next.
And Contagion.
Yeah.
That's a 10-year-old movie.
Yeah.
Have you seen it lately?
Not lately, because I can't find it where I can stream it without paying a bunch of money.
Yeah,
I just need to
unfortunately,
pay the money.
Yeah, exactly. But that one it's a 9-year-old movie. They're using the same terms that we are using now. Social distancing. That's the first time I ever heard that. And it was 9 years ago. I'm like, They said all this stuff back then. The catalyst that starts it in China is a bat and pig crossover in the movie. That's the same thing that started this one. I think it's a bat. Wasn't it a pig or is it a bat and something?
Well, we've
else?
had the swine flu, and now we've also
This is
from what I understand, it was a bat.
Yeah.
But
So it's amazing. It's like, holy shit. It's like, this is scenario, someone has already played this out and said, this could totally happen.
Yeah.
time travel.
Watch that movie.
Time travel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good.
He's one of those people. We did see a prediction though. It was an article that had it was about a time traveler. He was claiming that he was a time traveler that got fired from his job as a time traveler from the year 2030, which is not very far in the future. And so he got stuck here, and he was on a lie detector test, and they're asking him all these questions, and he says that Donald Trump will win for a second term, but in 2028 we'll discover aliens and they'll live amongst us and they'll teach us time travel. So it's like you have Donald
Is
Trump.
this a
but you
movie
get the
or is
aliens.
this real?
This was real.
Somebody
I mean,
posted
real.
it on April 1st, though.
It was real.
Wow.
But was it real? I don't know if it was real. Oh no, that died. That's dead.
What's your question?
I know. All my questions were on my phone, and they died. I haven't plugged it in
You
today.
don't know what the other
I'm
questions
super
are.
prepared. I think I'm gonna wing it. I'm gonna remember.
All right.
Okay, so we did the learning, we did the things. I only have like 7 more questions, right? Two. Okay, well, let me ask you the last one first while this powers back up.
Sure.
When this is all over and you can travel to anywhere in the world that you wanted and the COVID's is gone, where would you want to go? Your
That's a
bucket
good
list.
question.
With us,
I think,
No.
I would like to go to New Zealand. I really would.
Ooh.
that's a good one.
That's my next, I mean, and, maybe stop over in Australia.
What's
But,
the
New Zealand
appeal
for
for New Zealand for you? What's the draw to New Zealand?
Well, just the landscape, the pictures I've seen is just absolutely beautiful. Just beautiful.
Are you going to
The
go?
other,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the other place would be maybe Norway because of the fjords and all that beautiful scenery there.
Very similar to New Zealand like that, then.
You like
I think so too.
Mountain
Yeah.
fjords,
Yeah. Beautiful,
Fjord
beautiful
creek.
scenery.
which is
But
interesting because
it kind of makes you feel small,
Yeah, well, that is true, and it's I bet coming from Omaha, there's not a lot of mountains over there.
Not too many fjords in Omaha.
No
Fjordless.
fjords.
They're fjordless there in Omaha.
So it probably is also kind of a cool, like something that you're not from growing up.
Actually,
Exactly.
we might go to do the whole Australia head towards New Zealand thing because we have several friends that live there now, and
Yeah, we were hoping to apply at some point and go to the Melbourne Comedy Festival.
the Sydney Comedy.
Oh,
and the
wow.
Sydney Comedy Festival.
So we could do that.
But yeah, did you know actually New Zealand's an interesting story because all of these billionaires, I don't know if you know this, I think very interesting, were buying property and making these like secluded ranches and bunkers basically so that they could get away from everything when the shit goes down.
Right.
Well, apparently, well, first of all, the New Zealand government was not happy about this whole situation. They did not like the idea of these billionaires coming and making these things, and that was going to be their whole, whatever. But the first country that closed their borders to Americans was New Zealand, and you have all of these billionaires that want to go to their special oasis that they paid millions of dollars. They can't do it.
That's awesome.
It's like a lesson. If you've got to go before the shit really starts to go down at all. You've got
Right.
And apparently now it is true that a lot of billionaires and millionaires are going out on their private yachts. They're taking their yachts out, or they've bought bunkers and stuff, and they're moving into them right now. And I think they're probably most worried about economic repercussions of this and people getting angry.
Pitchforks and torches coming to the palace.
Oh yeah. That's a valid concern.
Well, when you have what 30 million people who are unemployed and no money and no job, and then you're going to kick them out of their house and they don't have food.
Yeah, the landlords are knocking on their doors. Hey, rent still due. You know, that's what's going to happen. That's the next. That's
Well,
the
and
next
there's
thing.
people who used all of their last money on food and rent, and they have no money for bills, and they have no money for next month. And even those
No
that
money coming in. So
Yeah,
April is kind of like a priming month. By May 1st, the shit's really going to get real if we don't step up and get help for a lot of people.
right.
the
Right.
unemployment thing is good that they add to that, but there's a lot of freelancers and contractors that can't quite sign up for that. They said that there's going to be loopholes for them, but you can't sign up until June. And even the
Right.
ones that sign up now have to wait forever because it's backlogged, because 10 million people filed for unemployment in the last 2 weeks.
Right. Well, I think the report was what 6.2 million new ones.
Yeah, just in the last
just
week.
today.
Yeah.
Yesterday or today. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Crazy. And I have a lot of friends on the Twitter that haven't been able to get through. So they don't even have an opportunity yet to
Well,
get it.
and our system is so broken because health insurance is tied to your job. So now they don't have a job.
Right. Right.
And lost health insurance during a pandemic.
On a brighter note,
Right.
I'm going to go back to the questions. My phone has come back up. How am I using this time wisely? So the time that you've been locked inside when you're not working, you just, you don't have a whole lot of time, I guess.
Well, I actually, because typically what I would do when I'm in a place like this is I would be riding my bike a lot more, my mountain bike, and, going to see stuff, seeing the local. I would always get a feel for whatever the local stuff is. Well, you really can't do that, because for one thing, you're kind of breaking the rules, and I don't want to be a douchebag, just to go out and go around and see stuff. I mean, I have actually thought about this a couple of times about going to downtown and just do some video down there just because it's so empty. But I don't want to be that guy.
Well, then you'd go to show the video. People would be like, where did you get this? What were you doing?
Yeah.
You're
What were you doing down there? Yeah, exactly.
Schwarzenegger keeps posting Instagram of him riding his bike through Venice and Santa Monica, and it's completely empty. And he's like, "Good job, everyone," with his accent. I can't do it. Can you do the accent?
I don't do accents.
The Schwarzenegger accent. But I guess he was governor, and he's just riding his bike for exercise. So you can ride your
down.
bike. Get down.
Get
Oh,
down.
there you go.
Get down.
He's like, "Stay home."
Stay home. Feeding my ponies.
I don't think either of us could.
No, that wasn't very good. It was kind of a Hispanic.
I don't know what
It's like
it
a
was.
Hispanic Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So what are you doing now when you can't do those things? Are you binging all the things?
So I am binging a lot, but there's also a lot of free educational content available. So Adobe just opened up a bunch of their tutorials that usually cost a little bit of money. I think Shane Hurlbutt has put a couple of his $400 classes on for free, so you can watch the whole 2 or 3 hours of content. Some of them are 8 hours. So there's a lot of filmmaking educational stuff that I'm interested in anyway. So I've been watching those, doing some of that stuff. So that's what basically, I mean, other than binging, binging on, because my typical internet experience when I get off of work after I get done doing all the stuff I want to do is I'll go through YouTube because I have a bunch of people that I follow. And then a lot of it's always filmmaking related stuff. So a lot of guys that are filmmakers that have YouTube channels, follow them. But there's a lot more out there now because of
Time.
So people are posting a lot of free stuff that, hey, these guys are doing this. I think some of the universities have even opened up a lot of free classes. You can just take an online class.
So you're basically using this time to better yourself and give yourself more of an education.
I do like to learn stuff. Totally.
We've used our free time to learn about the Tiger King.
I did watch the Tiger King.
I actually made my own parody video. So we've also done that.
Called
too.
Cat.
I saw it. I watched it. I watched it. I was like, what's he doing? Oh, he's doing Tiger King.
Yeah, he is. What did you think of?
Did you like my eye whisk that I had?
Yeah, I knew it. I knew what that was about. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's that earring in his eye.
Which is funny because I told her to take it out because no one would know what he was referring to.
I knew exactly what it was as soon as I
Everyone
saw
who's
it.
seen it loves it, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's!" And everyone who has this,
Hilarious.
they're like, "What the hell is that? Why?
Right.
Why are you?"
I honestly think your parents have seen it on Facebook and think there's something mentally wrong with you. Like they're concerned.
Oh,
about
Doug's
you.
lost his shit in quarantine. People have said.
You could take it that way, definitely.
If you didn't know, I was like, I hope enough people have watched this that they don't come and try to take you away.
They're coming to take me away. Ooh.
All right.
And the final question is?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you.
He already answers them with the previous question.
I know. It's what better version of myself do I see emerging from this time of quarantine? You kind of already said that you're going to be smarter.
Hopefully, yeah. If I retain a little bit of what I learned. But yeah, I mean, I would like to, I try to apply what I learn. Obviously, if I'm going to research something, it's something that I want to be able to get better at, be a whatever better filmmaker or documentarian or whatever,
Yeah.
or verite filmmaker, you know? So yeah.
That's awesome. And then my last question is, do you think Carol Baskin fed her husband to tigers?
Absolutely.
What? No.
I think so too.
So did you know that her husband was Marty from Ozark, right? Basically meaning the reference. If you've seen Ozark, Marty was the guy
Right,
who was money to the mob.
Marty Berg.
That's how her husband made his money.
Okay, so maybe he got fed to lions, but maybe Carol didn't do it.
Maybe Carol didn't do it.
Either way, that guy's not alive.
There's a reason he went on the right.
He disappeared.
He owned 3 planes, but yet couldn't retain his pilot license. It was taken away.
Right.
He still flew planes all over. He had millions of dollars. He was known to hang out with one of the cartel guys. Like
really?
Yes.
I mean, they could be buddies, you
could be
know.
just-
I didn't know that backstory. So yeah.
He apparently he spent a lot of time.
You got to do your research on the Tiger King if you're gonna be the king.
He's really spent his time bettering himself by becoming a better arguer on Facebook and a researcher on Google.
There you go.
Yeah, fighting the good fight on the Facebook.
Yeah.
There you go. We have to.
So, Mike, the episode's almost over, but I want to give you an opportunity. We'll post your YouTube page. Do you have like an Instagram page or anything that people can follow you if you want, or do you not want them to follow you?
I do, and you know what? I have no idea what the names of them are.
You know what we're going to do then?
We'll post it on the...
We'll post it. You better look at the blog post that's related to this at theheandseshow.com, and we'll have all of his links there. And then you can get
perfect.
YouTube videos and the pictures.
All right, yeah.
Things.
I could do that.
Follow your journey. And we'll have you back again after the pandemic is over.
Yeah, sounds
We
good.
can plan our upcoming journey.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sounds good.
We might have to go to New Zealand.
Yeah, maybe we'll go we'll go to Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect.
We'll start our journey there.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's really good to see you guys.
Yeah,
It's
buddy.
good to see you too.
Stay safe.
Yes.
All right.
Everybody stay safe.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Around the World with the He and She Show. With your hosts, Doug and Teresa Wyckoff. If you like our show and want to know more, check out our website, theheandseshow.com. Support us by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us a positive review. Safe travels till we visit again next week.